The Volta Lake was created in 1965 with construction of hydroelectric dam. The lake sits above what was originally a forest, leaving trees sticking out above the water. Lake Volta is now home to thousands of children sold as slaves, exploited and used in forced labor.
Hi, Mommy. You tell us your name, the institution we find ourselves in, and then your position in this institution.
Okay, thank you. I'm Mausi Doche, the proprietress of Misahwe Montessori School, and then the founder of Misahwe Children's Home, Pando.
There have been issues of child trafficking, child labor all over the region, especially along the Volta Lake. To your knowledge, how long has this child trafficking been happening on the Volta Lake?
Child trafficking has been in existence for a very long time. To my best of knowledge, I think child trafficking started with human slavery.
This public official decided not to go on camera for safety reasons.
Thanks for giving me such an opportunity to share with you about issues relating to child trafficking in Ghana, specifically on the Volta Lake. I remember some time back, we have one NGO called African Center, and the head was Dr. Tingi. They conducted a research, and out of that research, they came out with the findings that showed or indicated that trafficking has been ongoing on the Volta Lake, where children are trafficked from some sending communities to the final destination, and most of them are used for fishing, especially the boy child, and then the girls are also used to do house chores and also help in smoking the fish. So after the research, it came to light that it was true that children from some of the communities in Ghana, especially along the coastal areas, a lot of children are trafficked from those areas to the Volta Lake, where people give them out to be used as trafficking victims. And most of them, especially relating to the families who give up these children, are deceived by those middlemen who happen to be at times their family members or family relations, who will just come and say, oh, we'll send your child to school. You have a burden, you have a lot of children, so let's send the child so that we can also help to educate the child. So most of the times, these parents or mothers gives out these children with the hope that these children will get a better future.
So when I found out what was happening on Lake Volta, I was disgusted. These children have never experienced unconditional love from their parents because their parents are the ones selling them to the human traffickers in the fishing industry. And when these children pass away from the hard labor that they're forced to do on the lake, nobody mourns them. They're just gone. We spoke on camera with a social worker from the Department of Social Welfare in Accra, and this is what they told us.
So your message, and then if you have any other issues that we've not asked or we've not touched on as a department.
Okay.
What are some of the challenges that you face, and then your plea?
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, the Department of Social Welfare and Community Development is one of the oldest departments in Ghana. But if you look at our situation as a department, it's very sad. One, we are seriously understaffed. Secondly, we are under-resourced. Yes. If I say we are under-resourced, at times for us to carry out or implement our numerous activities we planned as a department, we don't have the resources to carry out those activities. Something like a means of transport vehicle. Let's say, for instance, as we are talking about trafficking of children, and issues have been reported to you as a department that a child have been trafficked, and you are going into the rescue of that child. You can be on a motorbike. At least you have to, you have to be in a vehicle, because you can going to rescue a child. You hire a motorbike, or you go by your own means. That is a motorbike. There must be a means of transport, that's vehicle, for us to at least use for our work, so that at least all these issues of trafficking, child labor will be in the various will be reduced, so that as a country the human resource development will be increased. Thank you.
I remember there was one case where a child was taken from a place in one of the coastal areas, and the person said was giving the child to somebody in Accra. At the end of the day, they couldn't trace the child for a long time. And so one day, this brother of this girl was in Accra and happened to bounce on this woman and then asked, "Where is my sister?" So based on that, this guy blew an alarm and the police came in, and then the lady was arrested. Can you believe that at the end of the day, when we went to court, it happened that the child has been sent to Côte d'Ivoire. So we have to go to Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan, and then other far place in Abidjan. And we have to use the Navy to go to that island for us to be able to get the child back home. So you see, the parents thought this woman was just coming in to support or help them, to help this girl get a better future. But at the end of the day, this is where the child landed. So majority of the people who give out their children, it's based on poverty, based on ignorance. And so they just give out these children for a better life for them in future. But at the end of the day, these children are pushed into these activities and then make their situation very, very uncomfortable, and they become so vulnerable that they cannot even do anything. A lot of parents, after we've done investigations and then we are able to rescue the children, when even they come, they don't even know actually where the children are. Even the children that have been given out, the people that they are even staying with, they don't even know them. Likewise, the same, those people who are using the children that we call them the traffickers, don't even know the actual parents of the children. So most of the times, they even change their names. And the sad thing is that when the child is very young, the name is changed. The child cannot trace back where he or she comes from. And so most of the times when we are able to come out to rescue these children, the parents feel so bad because they have been deceived. You understand? So they hurry up to take back their children. And it is something that why we need to do more training, and we need to talk to them that even if you don't have anything, at least there are little trading that you can do in order to support your child, but not to give up your child to people whom you don't know and who always promise that they are going to give your children a better life. And a lot of these parents always feel guilty and are not happy with those situations. And so based on this, a lot of people now are aware of the situation and they refuse to give up their children to people they don't know, even if the person who comes happen to be even a family member. They inquire to know more or to be more inquisitive to know where the child is actually being sent to. And most of the children that we rescue on the lake, I can say that some, when you rescue them, because of the kind of food that they eat, they are malnourished. Some are not well, they are sick. They have a lot of skin rashes. Some, even when they urinate blood. And you see ringworms on their hair and all those kind of things. And even when you see their developmental stages, I mean, they are retarded. I mean, it's not the best. It's not the best because they are not taking good care of them. They don't send them to hospital. They don't do anything for them. They are just there and they work above their means. They work so many hours on the lake. And so at the end of the day, they cannot even grow when you compare them to other children. You see that maybe some child will be about 5 years or 6 years as compared to somebody from the urban area. You see that there is a vast difference between them. So those are some of the things that we always identify. And then also we can say that the traffickers, when we do operations and they are even arrested, some whom they come and we try to explain things to them that it is wrong for them to do those things. Some feel so bad, show remorse about what they have done, because a lot of them don't know it's a crime, because all that they want is that they want somebody to stay with to help them in their work. And so they think that they are helping that person or that child. So they don't see it that it is wrong for them to do that. So I think that because of the awareness creation and training and all sorts of things that is going on, and even you see it in adverts and so other things, so people are now becoming aware of the issue relating to human trafficking. So majority of the traffickers, we advise them that yes, you can use somebody, but somebody who is 18 years, but not a child. Because under the Children's Act, you are not supposed to use a child. Because by using that child, it means the child is engaging in hazardous work. And going to see that one, it's not accepted at all. And it is stated clearly in the Children's Act.
My name is Joseph Amwakwanza, and the name of the organization is Open Door Children's Foundation. Our motto is ODOSEF, Enhancing Child Development. And as a voluntary, humanitarian and non-profit, non-governmental organization established and dedicated in our collective effort to support the creation of a life-enhancing environment for the development of every child and young person in Ghana and beyond. Our key interest is accelerating the expansion of programs, projects, and other engagement which basically address issues that threaten the right as well as the social, education, health, mental, and psychological well-being of children and beyond persons to help ensure an energetic and fruitful life.
Okay, what are some of the reasons that will make parents sell their kids to human traffickers?
Yes, there are 101 reasons parents will give their children out to traffickers. Some of the parents don't do it willingly, but they end up giving their children out in the sense that some go to borrow money and then they use their children or the families as a collateral. So when the time comes for them to pay back the money, they might not be having the money or they may not be having the money. Then they take their children as the collateral for the money. Some give their children out for funerals to be performed for them. Let's say you lost your father and you want your funeral in a grand style and you don't have money. So since they are having about 10, 12 children, they give one of the children out for 10 years, 15 years. Then the one trafficking the child will perform the funeral for them. Yes.
My mother was a single mother of 5 kids, and she always did what she had to do. Of course, she struggled, but she did with what she had, just like every other single mother does. And me, myself, as a mother, I just cannot understand the logic behind selling one of your kids. The favoritism, like, oh, I have all these kids, and what they're doing is selling pretty much the youngest one. So, oh, the youngest one doesn't matter to me, so I'm just going to sell them away. These children aren't possessions, they're human beings. And had they not been sold, they, had more potential of growing up and having a very good career. But that was taken from them as soon as their parents just sold them away. And, it's like me. I was a single mother for years. And it was like if I were to pick one of them and say, oh, well, I'm struggling, working 2 jobs. Let me just sell one of my kids away. No. You do what you got to do. We recorded a conversation with an anonymous public official, and this is what was said.
Social life. They are often societal deviants in the sense that those among them who follow herds or the cattle end up sleeping with the animals in the bush. By doing that, they become sexually addicted. So they often outside the bush, you see them masturbating, which for them is a normal reality. So if you talk with them, they openly discuss what they do with the animals. And by doing this, even their human relationship with the opposite counterpart is very weird. So it is also a risk they face. So when they are rescued in time and the proper psychological counseling is given them, it helps them to reintegrate easily. Other than that, their integration becomes a problem to them. For them, they see it to be something normal. But when they enter the bigger society, then they begin to feel odd, and that can also lead them into other social vices, such as drugs, dealing rape cases, and then not having a respect for humanity elderly, and they become straightly social deviants.
An anonymous public official sat down with us for a recorded conversation, and this is what was said.
One of the common phenomenon with the rescued kids is they face a disease called bilharzia. And this bilharzia is a disease that normally affects the male trafficked children. It's a disease that affects their male organ, whereby when they urinate, after urinating, they see blood, and it spoils their sperm counts. Very painful. They also have this glaucoma because of the riverbanks. So they being there is causing a lot of problem to them. And even when they are rescued and proper treatment is not given to them, these are the two main diseases that they go through. And even when they are being treated, it goes and it comes again.
So Lake Volta is one of the very few man-made lakes in the world. And it sits on top of what used to be a forest. So there's jagged trees sticking up above the water. So when these kids are working on the lake, they have to put the net down in the water, and when they're ready to bring the net back up, they have to go down in the water and grab it. And when it gets caught on trees, most times the kids never come back up because they never learned how to swim, because they're only 4 to 5 years old. That's also in addition to the torture they suffer every day from the trafficker beating them mercilessly. They have never felt peace. They suffer every waking moment of their life.
What we do: 1. Peace advocate. Peace and development is part of the integral framework of ODOSEC. Our award-winning project, Think Child, Think Peace, which contributed to the peace framework in the 2012 and 2016 election year. 2. Global citizenship education. Our global citizenship education program focuses on interpersonal fluency, IPF, as a soft skills competence development pack for young people, teachers, and students. 3. Girl-child empowerment. Empowering and creating opportunities for female children and young girls to enable a smooth transition into responsible adulthood is key to our project and programs under this focus. Also, reintegrate young girls who fell out of schools due to reasons such as teenage pregnancy and poverty. 4. Gender equality. In accordance with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, creating access to education, social, religious, and cultural opportunities is of utmost priority to the aims and objectives of our programs and projects. 5. Sexual and reproductive health is one of our prime focus in addressing health-related issues among children and young people. 6. Child right protection, safeguarding the right of and liabilities of children, as well as creating a possible atmosphere for their sovereignty, is key to our Child Protection Act as an organization. Children and youth empowerment. That is 7. We believe leading programs, projects, seminars, workshops, and other interventions that empower children and young people to maximize their image and intellectual potentials. So far, the organization have achieved a lot, such as education on teenage pregnancy, drug abuse, HIV/AIDS, and also we have had a counseling and testing of HIV/AIDS programs.
This public official asked to remain anonymous.
This is about child trafficking. But before you get all the information you need about the trafficked parents or the traffickers, you have to be part of them. You have to pretend you are also trafficking a child, be a fishmonger or going on the lake or even escorting animals to feed. It's then that they think you are part of them, and then you get all the information you need. You'd have to be with them at the seashore or on the lake to get all information you need. Going there as a journalist or an investigator to do your investigation, they are so wise nowadays that you wouldn't get any information. So to get the information, you have to rent an apartment there or a room there, stay there for at least 6 months. They know you are part of them, then you get every information.
There have been issues that these children, these kids, have been rescued by so many people, so many organizations. Do you have any idea of how they recover, how long it takes for them to get recovered or to recover from this emotional abuse?
To my best of knowledge, I don't think they ever recover from their emotional trauma, because I have experienced them for at least 2 or 3 years, because some of the children were rescued on the lake and they were brought to Misahe Children's Home. They stayed with me for about 2 years, and then from time to time you see them going through the emotional trauma again, because they remember or they come to remember what goes on the lake or on the sea. For example, you went there with your brother, and the two of you are staying with one slave master. So you go to sea at dawn, then the net that they used to catch the fish gets trapped under the sea. So they send your brother under the sea to remove the net. Your brother goes and is not coming back. Then they ask you to follow. When you go, you see your brother being caught by a big fish already dead. So you undo the net, you come up successfully, but your brother is trapped there, dead. How can you ever recover from this type of trauma?
So based on this, what we can do is that most of these people need to be trained, need to be educated, especially even the children. We need to educate them to be aware of their environment, so that at least when people come, or even their parents don't even understand, those children can also support their parents to understand, so that they can also stand on their grounds by not going. Here are some of the children that we rescue. Like I said from beginning, some due to the fact that they were trafficked when they were young, they don't even know their parents. Some, their names have been changed. The traffickers give them new names, so that at least people cannot trace back where they are coming from. So some, you ask, who is your mother? They will mention a name. That's the trafficker's wife. They will mention the father's name. That's the trafficker. That's all that they know. So those that are not able to trace back where they are coming from, we have some of the NGOs who have shelters. So we link up with them and they support by taking them to their shelters. We have some that we cannot trace their families and they are still in the shelters. We've been able to support them from class 1. Some have finished SSS. Some are going to SS3. They will be finishing this year, and on and on and on. Some are now going to GSS3, GSS1, GSS2. So we have a lot of them. And what we have decided to do, the new model that we are practicing, is that we're talking about socialization. And so based on that, those children, those that with the help of social welfare and the NGOs, that we've been able to locate where they are coming from, locate their real parents. When school is on vacation, we allow them to go, so that at least that socialization that we're talking, so that they will not lose their lineage. They go, but when school reopens, they come back to the shelter to continue with their education. So this is what we've been doing, and we have a lot of these children who are still in the shelter going through schooling. And those that we've been able to trace their parents, those in SS, some of them now have been placed back to their real parents, and they are there schooling. But anytime there is vacation, they come back to the shelter to stay for some time because that is where they have been living. So most of them enjoy living at that place because they are able to socialize with the other colleagues or the other victims, and they always make themselves happy over there. So this is what we've been doing so far. So once the child is taken, we either send the person, like I said, back to home if we are able to trace, but immediately we don't send them. They go through counseling. Social welfare comes in. We have some of the NGOs because we need to even send them to hospital to make sure that they are better before even we send them back home. And so at times, if we cannot even trace the actual parents, some of them, when we get there, they'll tell us that maybe the parents are not alive. So we find a fit parent who will actually take care of the children. And that's where at times we have IOM coming in, we have other UNICEF and all other international NGOs also coming in to support, to give those children a better future.
So here in America, the issue of human trafficking is usually the sex trafficking with young girls. And what happens is you'll see news stories of missing girls because their loved ones are looking for them and have filled out police report for the cops to help find them. But these kids on Lake Volta don't even have that because their parents have sold them away. And when they're rescued from the lake, if the authorities there try taking them back home into their families, they end up getting re-trafficked and end up on the exact same lake where they were in the beginning. And it's truly sad that their own families just don't care and will go to these extreme lengths for money.
Peace campaign and formation of Peace Club, which is ongoing in 10 schools. Launching of Teenage Mothers for Hope, where children who give birth at tender age are encouraged to go back to school, and is being sponsored by the organization. Currently, 2 children are in school and 1 is into dressmaking. Lastly, we also organize programs which aim at transition towards adulthood every year for all senior high school graduates and junior high school after they finish writing the exams. Objectives, aim and objectives of the Open Door Children Foundation. 1. Develop educational and engagement tools and programs aimed at the nurturing of an enlightened young population to work towards the promotion of peace and unity. 2. Educating young people to develop attitude over aptitude as a global skills as global citizens. 3. Creating solutions to enable young girls to realize their academic, vocational, and technical aspirations. 4. Creating access and platform for equal opportunities and social representations. 5. To develop and implement reproductive health information, education, and communication programs for adolescents and the adults who influence them to increase their knowledge about how to prevent unwanted pregnancy and STS. Lastly, enabling platform to empower children and young people in their pursuit of their dreams. Our current program, Teenage Mothers for Hope, is one of the programs we don't want to joke with. And another program that we are running currently is child trafficking. It's costing a lot of children in Ghana and it's forcing them into slavery. And we don't want such to continue. So let us all join together and fight this canker. God bless you all. Thank you.
In your opinion, what steps needs to be taken in order to help put an end to this child trafficking, child abuse?
I think the government should pass a law that any parent who is caught selling his or her child out should be imprisoned. The trafficker should be left out, but the parent should be dealt with. Because when we say the trafficker should be dealt with, parents will go adamant and still give their children out. So the children that brought the children, the parents that brought the children to the world should be arrested and then sent to prison. Yes, because there are some cases that you found about 6 or 7 children of the same parent, one mother, one father, being married to a single man, one man. They are from the same parents, their mother included, married to the same man, because of child trafficking, maybe because of 100 cedis or 200 cedis.
Don't you think it's because of the economy, things being so hard for them, that's why? And then also education not going down to parents, that's why these acts are still ongoing?
No, I don't get it in that way, because before giving birth, you know the reason why you are giving birth. And even when you talk to them, they tell you they are giving birth for the children to help them on the farm or on whatever they are doing. So if you brought them into the world to help you, why then do you give them out to somebody to help you? To help them, and then you take money. That is why we have the family planning system there. You see, and then the education, we thank the government now. Basic education is free, secondary education is free as well. So what is the big deal? Send your child to school. So I don't think it's education not going down well, or parents not being talked to. They know what they are doing.
All right. Any message from you to the public?
Yes. I would like to say that everybody that is selling out children, I'm saying this in the sense that most children that are being sold out are not being sold out by the parents. Some, it's a relative that goes in for the children. Let your child come and spend holidays with me, and then you are far away at Cape Coast, I'm here in Kwando Toko. You don't know what is going on with the child. Some, we are just friends. You think I'm well to do. I came to celebrate the Easter holiday solo. Let my child follow you. Immediately we go back to where I'm staying. You are not there to see what is going on. And you don't even travel to come and see what is going on with your child. The person might gotten somebody to sell your child out to. So they give your child out and you'll be helping, and they'll be paying the one who has come for your child. So please, parents and families, when you have your children, keep them. Whatever you eat, let them eat what you eat. Even when you eat stone, let them eat stone with you, because they are abusing our children. The children end up being their slave sex, whatever it is I might call them. They use them without their will. They even use the boys as well. There's big women use the young boys to satisfy their sexual desires, which is very bad. So I'll plead with everybody, even when you are sending your child out to a place, make sure you go and see the place. Follow up from time to time to see what is going on with your child. If where your child is staying, the people don't allow you to talk to your child on phone, please go for your child. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So what we can also say that we still need support. We still need the NGOs. We still need the law enforcement agencies. And how do we engage them? We need to train them. We need to train them, because day in and day out, these traffickers, they change their tricks, their modus operandi. So we need to train them, because today they will be using this method in getting the people and tricking them to get them or to acquire them. Tomorrow they will change their style because it has been detected. So they often, that is why day in and day out, people have been saying that the criminal is always ahead of the law enforcement. But we thank God that the law enforcement is now up and doing. And so because of the kind of training that they've been getting from the US Embassy, from the British High Commission, from other NGOs, even the local NGOs, giving them training. We have the IOM training them. I think now they are doing better on the lake, and they are putting a lot of measures in order to make sure they are able to minimize this issue of human trafficking or child trafficking on the Volta Lake. And day in, day out, we also have the support of the Marine Police. They also do this patrolling for us. When you go to the Western region, they are stationed there. They also do this patrolling on the lake. And therefore, at the end of the day, if they found out that maybe children are being carried out to Cote d'Ivoire or other places, they are also able to help rescue those children back to where they are coming from. We have other NGOs who are working at Botiano, Winneba, and all the coastal areas. We have now Yoko on board. They are also working. We have the immigration. We have the anti-human trafficking unit. And then we have this anti-human trafficking unit across the whole country. And so they are really, really doing very well. And I will take this opportunity to salute IOM, who always are in to support the anti-human trafficking unit to be able to do their work effectively. So what we can also say that, like I said, because of the kind of training that we are giving to the children, and the kind of training, even now, we are using the community where we have been able to locate that those are the sending communities and the receiving communities. That is where our target is. And so we are even educating them that by law, you are not supposed to use children on the lake. You can use an adult that you can pay that adult. You understand? So with that, the law has no problem with that. But even when you frown on the human rights of that adult, you'll be held liable. That is how the law stands. And now the punishment has now been changed, and you can even be punished up to 20 years. So it is something that all of us need to come together, support each other, report when the case happen. It doesn't matter. Some people will not come in to support or report even when they see children being abused. But it is our humble appeal that once people understand this issue, they will humbly come and then report, so that the police can go in or social welfare can go in order to rescue these children. So for me to say how many children have been rescued, I cannot put a figure, because we've been able to rescue a lot of children, a lot. And you know, it is not one agency that is working. We have the police doing operation, supporting other NGOs. We have even NGOs going on the lake themselves. We have the IJM, we have the IOM going. We have other individual NGOs who are also supporting and doing rescue operation. So if I would say that we've rescued 100, 200, no, because each institution is doing something. And so we've been able to rescue a lot of children. Even police, we've rescued more than 1,000. So the NGOs who are on the lake and all those people, day in, day out, they rescue children. Even some of the children themselves run away from their traffickers. They are traffickers. And so all those numbers, when we add to it, we will say that we've done a lot. And that is why today we've been able to move up and we are on tier 2. But we're still praying that we'll be able to do more, get more prosecutions, so that we'll be able to get to tier 1. So in conclusion, I would say that human trafficking Now people know that it is happening, it is real in Ghana. We are a destination country. So with the tree, we have all those here because people are recruited, people are transit into this place, and people also use this place as their final destination. So we are source, transit, and final destination. That is where, at the end of the day, the children are put here. So all that I will say is that we really need more support. We really need more effort from the NGOs to do more awareness creation, to do more training in order to educate people to know that human trafficking is real. Because it is not an illusion. It is something that is happening. And at the end of the day, this affects the child or the victim himself. It also affects the community where the child is coming from, because the moment a child is used as a traffic victim, what happens? That perpetual poverty that we talk about continues. It cannot change, because at the end of the day, this child can even lose his or her life. You understand? And then it can also retard the progress of the child. And the child will not even get effective education. And so at the end of the day, the actual poverty that you want to fight, at the end of the day, you will not be able to achieve anything. So we still need support from people. We need support from government. We need support from everywhere. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Gender Ministry for putting effective secretariat, that is a human trafficking secretariat, and they are doing very well, coordinating with all the NGOs. And I think that they've been able to do marvelously well. But still, we still need to continue with the education so that at least everyone will know that human trafficking is real and it exists in our nation. And we all need to come on board to make sure we will help minimize it. We will help minimize it. Thank you once again for the opportunity that you have given me.
So here in America, human traffickers are already criminals. Most of them start off as drug dealers selling drugs. So it's expected. Bad behavior. And over in the Volta region, the parents are selling the children to the human traffickers out of greed, and the human traffickers are taking in slaves instead of finding employees to help with their fishing business. So in all, they're just taking advantage of innocent children that could have grown up and become productive members of society, but that was stolen from them.